agencies. Whether you are from which ministry, environment will affect you. So you are a partner. Whether from justice or you are from Ministry of Health, Ministry of Education and Sports, you are a partner, every ministry. But also we have communities that lives with wildlife. These are direct partners. We have the civil society, the NGOs. In fact, many projects that are promoting conservation of wildlife have got funding from NGOs. The WWF of this world, the African Wildlife Foundation, the CTPH and others, they're doing very good work as far as conservation of wildlife is concerned. We have the policymakers, members of parliament. Yesterday we were in parliament talking about the same issues. They are doing good work, legislation, making laws for this country. Because for us to implement some of these things, we must base on the law. Without the law, we cannot, for example, UA cannot go and enforce, cannot recruit and engage the rangers. You must have the law on your side. Like UEC, we have UEC Act 2015 for us to be the lead agency in conservation education in this country. There is a law. So the members of parliament are key stakeholders. We have the private sector. Private sector, Uganda Tourism Association, Auto, Usaga, they are key partners. Without them, these are people. You know, you can have wildlife, but if you don't bring tourists, if you don't bring in money, how are you going to sustain wildlife? So private sector is playing a key role, and we salute private sector for the good. What about schools? These young people. So partners are many. These development partners, USAID and others, they are bringing a lot of money to conserve what? To conserve wildlife. So partners are very important, and the theme of this year, it is really very relevant. It has come at the right time because the impact of what we are doing is being felt. Ebola, we have talked about COVID, climate change is here, rains are coming, we are going to see the impact. People who are throwing bivera, polythene bags, who are throwing bottles in water channels in Kampala, you are going to see how the environment is going to pay back. So we are all stakeholders. People who are in taxis, these guys, taxi drivers, why do you sit? I'm happy that NEMA has become very hard on people who are disposing waste irresponsibly, especially single-use plastics. They have become very what? So let us join, for example, NEMA, support them. Why should you see somebody throwing rubbish irresponsibly?
And you're not bothered.
And you're not bothered. You say, that is your business. Tomorrow, you are going to be affected. All of us. So let us take the bull by its what? Horn. All of us as partners. And then this country is one of the best. You don't have another country. It's only Uganda. And Uganda is the best country, let me tell you. We should really nurture it, look after it. You'll enjoy it.
Uganda is the best country.
Yes.
Well, from the wildlife conservation perspective there, David says that. But Sharon, when we talk about partnership and conservation, now what have we been able to achieve through this? Because we know sometimes these partnerships may also be may compromise us, you know.
No, I know.
Maybe compromising. Sometimes these partners may come with their targets, hidden agendas. They say we shall be feeding these animals. So what have we been, how have these partnerships, do we have something that we have been fruits of this partnership?
Absolutely.
And how do we encourage others? Or what even benefits? There's something I found funny in connection to what I'm going to be asking you. You know, one time I was at the zoo and I had a name of one of the tycoons in this city being named. I think it was a baby chimpanzee or a baby, there's an animal of a certain tycoon in this country. His name was given to an animal because they said his family had adopted this animal as a family member. But he's kept in the zoo. So they told me this man contributes this amount of money and his family for the welfare of that animal. Now me, an African man, I left wondering, if I'm Chirabo Robert Nyonyitono with my family, then we have a chimpanzee or a baby lion. I don't remember which type of animal it is, but I know David knows what I'm talking about. One of the people who owns a lot of buildings, this man of an Asian origin, you know, he has an animal named after him in the zoo.
Can I say something? Before Sharon comes in.
Okay, please.
Yes, for us we have the naming program in the zoo. Even you, Robert, you can name. Depends on which species. We have put a price tag. If it's elephants, good money. If it is a parrot, or if it is a bird, somehow small. So even you can become a tycoon and name, I don't know, tycoon, I don't know how you define it, but we have had many.
Group,
we have had, Sudire has named, we have Ugandans named, we have Diamond Trust Bank, they have just named a giraffe, a baby giraffe. There are many. Even me, I can name. We have even staff that pay 100, 200 and name an animal. So we have a big program. So it's not like for only Sudire.
You know how it's been called Sudire, I'm like,
It comes from passion. It's not about posturing that I have money, but these people have love for wildlife. And that's why they come and give us money and they give a name. Even you, Robert, you can, we can talk and
let me work hard.
And
I come, my
it's
name
not much money, yes, but from the heart, not just about money, but you must love wildlife.
So you name,
That
you also
passion.
facilitate, because these guys are even come as a family with certain things to
Yes, you
give
come.
and all that.
Come.
So those are the partnerships.
That's the
exactly,
connection I talked about.
absolutely.
I gave you the model. Connect, understand. How do you connect with wildlife? Come with your family. You groom children from when they're still young. You say, you know, I have a banana, but the animal is dying at you here, they don't have food. You bring a banana. You have some meat. A lion, like we have 11 lions. Each lion eats about 8 kilograms per day. Do you know how much we spend? And money is not there. Someone said, but why do you care about wildlife? Why don't you take it back and die? These are God's creation. We are all important in the eyes of God, whether wildlife and the people. Someone who talks like that has a very bad heart, can even kill you. But for us, we believe in ecosystem. That for me to exist, a lion must be there. A leopard, they have a role to play. So why should you put money in these animals? And when people are starving, those are people with bad heart. And they don't believe in God.
Okay,
God is
Sharon,
creation.
Partnerships. Thank you, Robert. I'll start from private partners, like you've just given us an example, a very good example. An individual can partner with Uganda, with the Uganda Wildlife Authority, with UWEC, to see how they can, you know, conserve these animals. So Uganda Wildlife Authority in the past had what they call Friend a Gorilla program. That was through partnership, development partners. You could pay a small amount of money and, you know, towards a certain group of gorillas for their protection. So everybody from an individual to the NGOs, like you already said. We have so many partnerships in UA with the NGOs like WWF who are doing great work in the conservation areas. We have, like I told you earlier, we have development partners who are financing big projects in Uganda Wildlife Authority to try and protect wildlife. I talked about the electric fence, I talked about their projects, development projects, you know. There's a lot. The government is doing so much, funding a lot of work in Uganda Wildlife Authority, to protect animals. We have budgets every other year to try and see how we can keep these animals. So partnerships have been there, and partnerships will continue being there. And this year's theme, like we said, partnerships for wildlife conservation, we want to see more partnerships coming on board. It's everybody's role to protect animals. It's not only for the agencies that are in charge with mandated with managing wildlife, but even an individual, because it's those small actions that add up to the big solution that we see at the end of the day. Like from picking a cavera, like Mr. Musingo said, making sure you dispose of rubbish the right way. you know, switching off the light to save energy, you know, all small actions that an individual can take bring up the bigger picture. But also agencies. We partner with UWEC, we partner with Wildlife Clubs of Uganda to conserve, to do education and awareness in schools. We have partnerships with tour operators. Tour operators are a big, you know, partner for conservation, because if the wildlife is not there, then they do not have business. Yes. Yeah, so they've partnered with us. They have supported. We have partnered with the communities that live around the national parks, because if these communities go in and kill the animals, then we'll have nothing. We'll have no animals. So we have to make sure that their livelihoods have improved. So we give them, you know, projects that help to improve their livelihoods, so that they do not focus on the forest, but they focus on other ways. I mean, they focus on other ways of getting livelihood except going to the forest, because, you know, they depend on the forests and the national parks and these conserved areas. But if we improve their livelihoods, then we have diverted them from going in there. So partnerships, I could go on there. Everybody is a partner. Everybody is a partner, from international organizations to national organizations to schools to children to everybody. Yeah.
But Robert, also partners who either support us financially, material-wise, they should have good intentions. Let me tell you, we have just some partners. Some partners gave us books. We see this book is not good for us. Others have other intentions. We have chased them. Because we have our culture, they have their culture. I know where you are driving to, especially the current situation now. I'm happy that our politicians, including His Excellency, the President, they have been very strong in this area of LGBT. That for those people, it is normal. For us, is what? It's not normal. It's evil. Now, you can do it here quietly, but if you promote it here, you are going to receive a very hostile what? Reception. Because it's not culture. It's not culture for us to promote such things. Likewise, some of this aid comes, but we have to be very careful. What kind of support are we getting? For example, I'll give you a good example. We have been rescuing elephants from Murchison Falls, from Queen, but some of these funders didn't want us to hand-raise elephants because they have a center in Nairobi at David Shedrick, and they thought for us we have no capacity and competence to manage elephants. But we insisted, when shall we ever build capacity as Ugandans?
So yours was to rescue handover?
Yes, rescue handover as they get funding for elephants. We insisted that we have the capacity. And we had our homegrown solution. And we have managed elephants very well. They said, no, we are not going to give you aid. We have not got any support to hand-raise our elephant successfully, and the elephants have survived because of the support from even government. Sometimes some of this support, which has strings attached, that will compromise our cultures, that will compromise our integrity. We should reject.
Definitely.
We should have really integrity.
Integrity,
yes.
And of course, these have been in the world. If we, the local people, the Ugandans, love them, protect them, care for them, then even someone would not have any form of audacity to come and instill in us what isn't ours. But well, time is not so much on our side. I'm going to give each one of you just a minute, beginning with Sharon, your parting shot.
Tomorrow is a World Wildlife Day, and it's going to be in Tororo, so I just want to urge every Ugandan to be part of this. I know some of you may not be able to come to Tororo, but around you, interest yourself, read about a wildlife species, see how you can, help in conservation. I know people are passionate about wildlife, some of you may not be, but interest yourself, because the planet is here, and my colleague said that if you do not treat the planet well, it will retaliate, it will not treat you well. So it's up to us to show our support to wildlife, and wildlife will support us as well. So I urge everybody to interest themselves in what's going to happen tomorrow, and to keep, visiting these national parks, visit the zoo, and see what work is being done by agencies and the government in protecting wildlife, and bring your children on board so that we can raise a generation that appreciates wildlife and conservation at large. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Sharon. David, as we leave the set.
First of all, I want to thank the UBIS management for giving us this opportunity. Robert and your team, we are very grateful. As Sharon has said, even today we are in Tororo, some of us, few minutes or few hours, we shall be in Tororo. We have secondary school competition, quiz, drama at Tororo Girls. Many schools have turned up. My colleagues, the ministry from UA, from private sector are in Tororo. Tomorrow we shall be at King George Stadium for the D-Day, the main event, where His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, will be the chief guest. So I want to take this opportunity to invite everybody to join us in Tororo. And someone asked that why Tororo? Tororo is a very unique area. It's a border town. First of all, when it comes to illegal trade or trafficking in wildlife, this is one of the main entry, Malaba and Abusia. So we chose Tororo. But also Tororo has the wildlife. Someone said, but is there wildlife in Tororo? That rock, you see, it has a lot of wildlife, including daikas, including kites, including also the vultures. So those who are going to Tororo, you can take advantage and hike that rock, Tororo Rock, which appears, I think, on Tororo Cement. But also even Tororo, some people may doubt. We have hippos down there in Mulanda. When you're going down there, there's a lot of wildlife. We have Bustema Forest with a lot of baboons. So I think it is a good site for hosting the Wildlife Day.
Well, I want to thank you so much, Sharon and David. Thank you so much for being around and creating awareness. Fellow Ugandans, it is upon us to conserve, to protect our wildlife, because if it gets extinct, then we shall have to pay a very expensive price for us to just even look at it. But also the enormous benefits we get from coexisting. There is so much that the world does for us to keep us safe and healthy. Let's protect these animals. In case you see any in danger, please alert the authorities. Do not harm these animals. There is Uganda Wildlife Authority. There is the Uganda Wildlife Education and Conservation Center in Entebbe Zoo that are ready to come and pick this animal and take it to a safe destination. Have a lovely day. See you tomorrow, God willing. Stay safe. Let's all that can be in Tororo for the World Wildlife Day tomorrow. Good morning.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.